Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tearing down the mythology of the World Cup, diving deep into what makes it, hands down, the most captivating spectacle on Earth. We're going to explore the tactical masterclasses, the legendary stadiums, the iconic prizes, and those unforgettable moments that elevate a simple sport into global history. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Clash of National Icons.
So, let's jump right into the highly anticipated 2026 quarterfinal clash in Atlanta. It's not just 11 guys kicking a ball around, right? It's about pure legacy. It brilliantly illustrates the contrasting narratives of two absolute legends. You've got Lionel Messi, 39 years old, already holding the ultimate prize, dancing what feels like his final tango as the reigning champion, and on the flip side, Mohamed Salah. He's 34, blazing entirely new trails in his very first knockout run with Egypt, still carrying massive hopes for the 2030 tournament.
And what's super fascinating here is the sheer difference in pressure. For Argentina, there's this looming, almost suffocating fear of a future without their captain, a real Messi dependency, where the closer he gets to retiring, the more they lean on him. But then, look at Egypt. Salah's recent historic Panenka penalty against Australia didn't bring anxiety, it sparked pure, unified joy across the entire nation. He is an absolute beacon of inspiration and pride.
All of this really begs a much bigger question, doesn't it? How exactly does a simple 90-minute game cross the line from a sporting event into an enduring myth that shapes a country's identity?
Well, let's explore that in Section 2, the Ultimate Football Prize.
To really grasp this glory, we've got to talk about the Holy Grail itself. The original Jules Rimet trophy had a literal Indiana Jones-style existence. Seriously. Created in 1930, it actually survived the Nazis in the 1940s by being hidden in a shoebox under a bed in Rome. Fast forward to 1966, it gets stolen during a public exhibition in London, only to be rescued from beneath a garden hedge by a dog named Pickles. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. After Brazil took permanent ownership of it in 1970, the story tragically ends with it being stolen again in Rio in '83 and heartbreakingly melted down.
So FIFA obviously needed a new symbol. Enter Italian artist Silvio Gazzaniga. He designs this stunning 18-karat gold masterpiece depicting two human figures triumphantly holding up planet Earth. It's absolutely iconic, perfectly capturing that global, unifying spirit. It is the ultimate symbol of immortality.
But hey, a legendary prize needs a legendary stage. Section 3, Stages that Changed Football.
These architectural coliseums are literally baked into the World Cup's DNA. Think about the Estadio Centenario in 1930, the original cathedral built in just 9 months, or the Maracana in 1950, packing in over 170,000 people and proving that football was this massive cultural phenomenon. Then you've got Wembley in '66, defining England's finest hour. And of course the Azteca in Mexico, the ultimate myth maker, hosting both Pelé and Maradona's absolute finest moments.
We have to remember, though, stadiums also deeply reflect their eras. Take Argentina's Estadio Monumental in 1978. This venue stands at a really complex intersection of football, global image-making, and human rights, as the tournament took place under a military dictatorship. It's a stark reminder that the sport often has to impartially confront some very harsh political realities on a global scale. The stadium didn't just change architectural history, it proved you can't always neatly separate the game from the geopolitical environment surrounding it.
Which brings us to Section 4, Unforgettable Underdog Fairy Tales.
Because it's on these exact stages, carrying all that weight of history, that the impossible actually happens. Sure, the World Cup usually belongs to the Giants, but man, the fairy tales we've seen where the underdogs just tear up the script. The USA stunning England in 1950, Cameroon becoming the first African nation to reach the quarters in '90, Senegal shocking defending champions France in 2002, Costa Rica surviving the ultimate group of death in 2014, and all of this leading up to Morocco's historic, groundbreaking semifinal run in Qatar in 2022. They keep pushing the boundaries of what we think is possible.
But if we're talking about the ultimate underdog story, we absolutely have to talk about the 1954 final, the miracle of Bern. Picture this. You have a heavily depleted post-WWI West Germany going up against the mighty Magyars of Hungary. Just to give you some context on this matchup, this Hungarian Golden team hadn't lost a single match in over 4 years. They were casually averaging over 6 goals a game. By every possible metric, they were the heaviest favorites in World Cup history.
So, how on earth did West Germany pull it off? It all came down to Sepp Herberger's tactical genius. First, he made the wild, unthinkable decision to field a reserve side in the group stage, deliberately taking a brutal 8-3 loss to Hungary. Why? To manipulate their bracket placement while resting his key players. And then, knowing it was going to rain for the final, he equipped his squad with revolutionary, interchangeable screw-in studs for better grip on the muddy pitch. It was an absolute masterclass in tournament management.
And the actual match? Pure cinematic drama. 8 minutes in, Hungary is already up 2-0. It feels like a total coronation for them. But wait, by the 18th minute, West Germany strikes back twice, tying it 2-2. The tension is unbearable for over an hour, until the 84th minute. Helmut Rahn dummies, creates a tiny pocket of space, and fires in the winning strike for an impossible 3-2 victory.
That goal didn't just win a trophy, it gave us arguably the most iconic piece of commentary in sports history. Radio broadcaster Herbert Zimmerman went completely silent for 8 seconds as the ball hit the net, and then just erupted over the airwaves. Ron shoots! Goal! 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 It wasn't just a point on a scoreboard, it was an emotional explosion, signaling an entire nation's rebirth.
This victory completely transcended sport. It literally became a founding myth for modern Germany. The phrase, "Wir sind wieder wer," meaning we are somebody again, spread like wildfire. Fans poured out of their homes, swarming railway tracks in the dead of night just to catch a tiny glimpse of the train carrying their heroes. It proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that football can help rebuild a country's spirit.
Finally, let's move to Section 5, the greatest World Cup goals.
Because while tactical masterclasses are great, football is ultimately decided by the players on the pitch. Think about this. Well over 2,500 goals have been scored in World Cup history. Making the all-time top list is an incredibly exclusive honor. We're talking about the absolute pinnacle of athletic perfection, executed under the highest pressure imaginable.
When you count down the absolute best, it's mind-blowing. You've got Zidane's 2002 volley, just flawless, perfect technique where few have ever struck a ball cleaner. Or rewind to 1958. A 17-year-old Pelé, introducing his sheer teenage genius to the globe with that brilliant flick and volley. Then there's Maradona's 1986 goal of the century, where he slices right through half the English team. Just undeniable solo mastery. And bringing it to the modern era, Messi's 2022 magic against Mexico, where the unimaginable pressure of an entire country collapsed into a single moment of cinematic salvation.
So, as we wrap up this explainer on the anatomy of World Cup glory, I want to leave you with something to spark your own debates. Between the impossible upsets, the architectural marvels, and thousands of strikes over the decades, which goal is number one for you? Thanks so much for joining me today as we unpack the history that truly makes this tournament the greatest show on Earth.